In a world that's always moving, you deserve a shield that stands with you. Welcome to WomenShield.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really, truly powerful resource from WomenShield. Look, I want you to imagine, just for a second, the incredibly daunting reality of trying to navigate the justice system completely on your own. It's like this giant puzzle of paperwork, crazy deadlines, and legal jargon that honestly could intimidate the most confident person you know. But for so many people facing life-altering hurdles, going it alone, well, it's not a choice. It's literally the only option they have. So today, we're going to dive straight into why the WomenShield National Directory of Pro Se Legal Aid Organizations exists, exactly how it works, and why having this at your fingertips is an absolute game changer.
So let's talk about the Pro Se Challenge.
Seriously, put yourself in those shoes for a minute. Can you imagine the sheer anxiety of staring down a massive, unyielding legal system with zero advocates by your side? When a sudden legal crisis hits, say an unexpected eviction notice, a wage dispute, or the terrifying reality of domestic violence, the stress is it's overwhelming. And making it all worse is that sudden realization that traditional lawyers cost a small fortune. For a huge portion of us, hiring private counsel just isn't happening. You're facing the judge alone, you're filing the motions alone. It's an incredibly isolating place to be, but it's the daily reality for thousands of people. And just to make sure we're totally clear on who we're talking about, let's quickly define pro se. It's a Latin term, basically meaning on one's own behalf. In the legal world, if you are navigating and representing yourself in a proceeding without a traditional lawyer, you are acting pro se. If you're filing your own paperwork or standing up in court to fight for your housing or your personal safety without an attorney, you are a pro se litigant. And this explainer, it's dedicated entirely to the resources built to support you. Now, what is really brilliant about WomenShield's approach is how they handle priorities right out of the gate. Before you even scroll down to the actual legal directory, you're immediately met with crisis support. They put the National Domestic Violence Hotline and the crisis text line right at the very top of the page. It's their way of saying, hey, before we deal with complicated court documents, your physical and emotional safety absolutely has to come first. If you're in immediate danger, the paperwork can wait, getting to safety cannot.
All right, so let's get into the actual WomenShield solution.
Once the immediate crisis is stabilized, the legal mountain still has to be climbed. And this is where the sheer scale of this resource kicks in. 297. That is a massive number. We are talking about 297 verified legal aid organizations standing by to help. These aren't just random law firms you'd find in a quick internet search. No, these are carefully vetted organizations totally dedicated to public service, advocacy, and pro bono support. And it gets better, because those 297 organizations cover an amazing 41 different states. From Maine to California, North Dakota, down to Florida, this directory throws a huge safety net all across the country. So whether you're trying to figure out a housing issue in Texas or navigating a family law dispute in Oregon, this whole network was built to help you find localized support. But here's the absolute best part, and honestly, a massive sigh of relief. This entire network is dedicated to providing free or low-cost legal assistance. That directly knocks down the terrifying financial barrier we were just talking about. These organizations offer everything from quick legal advice hotlines to full representation in major cases, all designed specifically for people who just cannot afford standard legal fees. Next up, we need to talk about filtering by your needs. Because look, having hundreds of resources is only actually helpful if you can find the right one without pulling your hair out, right? Picture the old way of doing this. You type your legal problem into a search engine, and boom, millions of results. Half of them are ads for super expensive lawyers, and the other half are outdated links or complete dead ends. It is overwhelming. Contrast that with WomenShield's Filter by State feature. It's so targeted, it instantly cuts through all that noise, showing you only verified, active organizations in your specific area.
The whole process is seamlessly simple. Step 1, you just select your state from the dropdown. Step 2, you scan the curated listings to find the organization that handles your specific issue. And Step 3, you call the direct contact number or click the website link provided right there. That's it. You go from total crisis mode to making a critical, targeted phone call in a matter of seconds. Now, what kind of help are we talking about? Let's look at the coverage for different crises. You're probably wondering, okay, but do they really cover my specific problem? Let's look at a few tangible examples straight from their data. In New York, you've got My Sister's Place, which gives highly specialized legal assistance specifically to survivors of human trafficking. Over in New Jersey, the Military Legal Assistance Program offers pro bono civil legal support to post 9/11 veterans. And out in Washington state, the Tenant Law Center focuses squarely on landlord and eviction issues. The help you find here is incredibly targeted.
And of course, beyond those specific examples, the directory covers the broad, everyday legal battles that threaten people's basic human needs. These 297 organizations are out there fighting daily for pro se litigants facing housing crises, like eviction and foreclosure. They're stepping up for domestic violence and family law cases. They're handling employment law, fighting for unpaid wages, and making sure folks have access to public benefits, healthcare, and immigration services. It really is comprehensive coverage. But what blew my mind a little bit is just how niche this directory gets. I mean, it is deeply curated. Did you know Pine Tree Legal in Maine has a specific farm worker unit for health, safety, and wage issues? In D.C., Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility focuses on whistleblower protection. Vermont Legal Aid has an entire mental health law project. There's even Georgia Lawyers for the Arts protecting artists' rights. Seeing this level of detail really shows the immense care they put into compiling these resources. And that brings us to our final point, empowering your legal journey. When we step back from the massive scale of the 41 states and those 297 organizations, what is this really all about? Well, WomenShield states their mission perfectly, empowering women through knowledge, resources, and support. Together, we build a stronger, more equitable future for all women. This directory isn't just a list of phone numbers. It's about restoring power to people who feel completely powerless. It's about building equity and a justice system that, let's be honest, can often feel totally out of balance for anyone who can't afford to buy their way in.
So the biggest takeaway I want to leave you with today is this. Information is only power if it's shared. Now that you know this verified, free, and low-cost legal network exists, who are you going to share it with? We all know someone who has faced or eventually will face a legal battle. Bookmark this resource, share it in your group chats, your communities. You just never know when pointing someone to the WomenShield directory might be the exact lifeline they need to face their next battle with an advocate by their side. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning out there.
Stay updated with WomenShield. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.